paint me the beautiful parts. Say we are 10 years from today. How have these robots integrated into society? Paint me a picture. I walk out, I'm driving around Boston. Where do I see these robots?
Yeah.
Or do I not see them? Are they in policy? Are they in government? Are they in police stations?
Yeah. So I think in 10 years from now, you will certainly come in contact with autonomous robots in a variety of different areas. You will have experienced them in school. You have experienced them in universities. You will see them in service type of environments, restaurants, hospitality, hotels, concierge robots. So you will encounter them in service and hospitality for sure. And of course, also food delivery. There will be delivery robots, last mile robots, something we're working on with the Spot robot, for example. You know, it's easy for the truck to get fairly close to your house. It's very difficult for the truck to drive actually to your door and deliver the package. So that currently has to be done by a human. So last mile delivery is going to be a thing. Autonomous robots are going to drive us around as they already do. The Waymo robots are live in many American cities. That will only expand. Hopefully by then we'll have some flying stuff. Please, God.
What kind of flying stuff are we talking about?
Well, I think, you know, we've been talking about flying cars for quite some time. Obviously, it will be sort of multi-quad copters that are electric that will probably go from one station to another before they go from my house to your house.
Right.
But I do think in that 10-year time period, we'll have them in those countries that are forward-thinking enough to allow the regulation to do so. Right? And then ultimately, like I said, I do think we'll have companion robots at home in 10 years for sure. And our next generation of young kids will grow up with robots around them.
Do you think we'll also see robots in, like for instance, this one I think is part of the fire department? Was it part of the fire department? So will
Yeah.
we see them in public service?
Yeah, for sure. We do have a couple of hundred robots with first responders today. So fire departments could use them to inspect buildings that burnt out buildings that are too dangerous for humans to go into because they might collapse. Or police department could use the robot in hostage situations where if you don't use a robot, you have two very nervous humans interacting with each other, and that usually doesn't de-escalate the situation. Or you could also envision the robot in nuclear decommissioning, where there's highly radioactive environments that cannot be touched by humans, no matter how much PPE equipment they're wearing. So I have high hopes for our robots in those type of environments as well.
And what about, like, I'm sure also there's a lot of exploratory possibilities with this stuff that we could not have otherwise gotten to ourselves. Volcanoes famously,
Yeah.
right? Like deep ocean situations, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that part of the range of things that we might see? Is that part of what you guys think about here or not?
Absolutely. If it's a dangerous situation that a human shouldn't be in but needs to be fixed somehow, I think our robots would always be a great solution for that.
It's interesting. What will work look like for me?
What?
Work look
Yeah.
like for me?
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand 10 years from now. It's a very central question. I walk into work. What does it look like for me? I'm in a factory, or let's say I'm in a regular corporate office. Choose whichever of the two. What does work look like for me in 10 years?
Well, I was surprised, I think, as we all were, that if you would have asked many of us 5 years ago, what jobs are going to be automated by AI first, I don't think any of us would have said creative jobs. As a matter of fact, my daughter started college 4 years ago, and she asked me, and I said, well, probably creative jobs will go last. And man, was I wrong, right? Creative jobs were some of the first things that
Disappeared.
large language models are really good at.
Yep.
Now, I don't think any creative jobs have disappeared, but they're certainly changing dramatically and are allowing artists to explore and maybe make it easier to explore totally different ways to have human-robot interaction. So I'm not sure. I don't think I can predict white-collar jobs near into the future. I do think that hard labor type jobs in manufacturing, in process manufacturing, and in logistics we will be able to automate specific tasks in those environments so that humans don't have to break their backs anymore.
So, is the important skill being able to manipulate a robot over a screen and a controller like I was doing? Does that become the alpha in education? Is it, am I, because, okay, here's the thing. I'll paint you a science fiction sort of outcome. Tell me how much of it makes sense. I feel like in 10 years, you're also going to find a way to integrate this with natural language understanding of some nature, but I can talk to it. And maybe it'll take static instructions at first, but then eventually understand sentence flow, etc. as well. And so, is at that point verbal prompting or textual prompting something that is what I do at work, or is it controlling it with a remote control, or is it just monitoring it over 10 different screens, watching 10 different robots do 10 different things at the same time? Like, what's a good
Yeah.
imagination outcome of that kind of thing?
I think over the next 10 years, they will certainly be 100% autonomous. Most of these robots, you will give them a task, maybe at the beginning of the day, maybe at the beginning of the week or month, and they will autonomously execute that task. And if you need to change the mission, then yes, absolutely, you can talk to them and give them verbal commands, and they will do new behaviors. One of the things that all the robotics companies, including us, are feverishly working on is this generality, right? Teaching the robot something new by showing the robot what to do. Hey, let me show you what to do. Again, very easy for you and I to do. I can say, hey, can you pick up this camera and place it over there? That's easy for you to do. That's still a hard robotics problem on a couple of different levels, but we will get there in that time period for sure. So yes, there will be a high degree of autonomy and easy to work interfaces. So remote controlling the robot might be a niche application that you might want to do. For example, if you have an offshore oil rig and something is broken, an expert could teleoperate a robot and basically teleport onto the oil platform, take over the robot and do the repairs because he's an expert in that particular field. Or in a nuclear decommissioning or nuclear disaster environment, some expert could teleoperate a robot in that environment. So I think there will always be niche applications, but I think mostly we will be fully autonomous.